What's up guys? Douglas from Dougsterbob.com here, and today we're going to be finally talking about the 2022 Sunday Darkwave Authentic BMX bike. I'm excited. This is one of my favorite 2022 bikes this year. It's very expensive, but it's also very high quality. And I think I feel personally like in love with it because this is very similar to what I'm going to build my next custom bike around. Geometry, parts, everything. This is an incredible bike. And so let's talk about the geometry and the quality and figure out if this is a good choice for you or if you'd just be wasting your money. Let's get right into it. All right, so the Darkwave Authentic comes with very high quality parts. It's going to come in one color. It's a translucent red, and it costs $1,349. Like I said, very expensive. One of the most expensive bikes in 2022. There are very few bikes that even go over that $1,000 price point, and this one is 1,349. It's a super expensive bike, but there's a method to the madness, and this will make a little bit more sense when we talk about the quality. But before we do that, I just wanted to say this is a bigger geometry, so it's going to be better for taller riders and people who like controlled, flowy type riding. And it also has a warranty on most of the parts, but not all of the parts. If you're looking for a warranty aspect, the Sunday Soundwave is the better option, so go check that review out instead of the Darkwave. Otherwise, let's talk about the Darkwave's quality. The frame is an aftermarket Sunday Darkwave frame. Now, it goes like this. The quality of parts essentially go like this. There are basic quality parts. These are mass produced. There's not very much love put into them. They're just basic parts, okay? These basic parts are generally like high tensile steel and low quality material. But then you get full chromoly. That is going to be the next step up in quality. So full chromoly frame, forks, bars, and those are going to be a lot better than the basic high tensile steel counterparts. But there's one more jump in quality, and this goes when you purchase aftermarket parts. So for example, my bike is fully custom, and those are all aftermarket parts on there. If you buy a $300 bike, you buy some $90 handlebars and put it on there, you just put aftermarket handlebars on it. And that third step is aftermarket. A lot more love goes into these parts, a lot more attention to detail. The weld quality is better, and the material is just way better. And so this frame, the Sunday Darkwave frame, is an aftermarket frame. This is the same frame that you would buy for $350+ if you just wanted to buy a frame. It's a very high quality frame. Now, same with the forks and the bars. Those are all aftermarket chromoly. The rims are also double wall. This is just an incredibly high quality bike, and the bike comes with 4 pegs and 4 hub guards, so it's going to be street ready right out of the box. We'll talk about that in the Dougsterbob score section. The other important thing here is that the bike weighs 24.97 pounds. Almost 25 pounds, but not quite. Getting a bike with 4 pegs and 4 bars under 25 pounds is really an accomplishment. So this is a really light bike with huge geometry. So it's got a little bit extra material on there since the frame's longer than most and everything. So it is a really light bike, and the quality is just incredible. Now with the quality, what I wanted to talk about is warranty. Sunday and Odyssey offer warranties on a lot of their parts, and the Darkwave is no exception. However, the warranty comes on the forks, bars, and cranks, not on the frame. Where the Sunday Soundwave comes on the frame, forks, bars, and cranks, depending on which version you get. The cranks may or may not have a warranty on the Soundwave, depending on if you get the free coaster or the cassette. But the Darkwave only has the warranty on the forks, bars, and cranks. So this is cool. I wish it was a warranty on the frame, but you know, most of these parts are warranted, and I already said these are aftermarket parts. The quality is just incredible, and you couldn't put better quality parts on here even if you wanted to. Now, as far as the geometry goes, this thing is pretty big. It has a 21.25 inch top tube. Most top tubes on complete bikes do not go over 21 inches. The Subrosa Tyro XXL and the Fit Trail XXL both came with like a 21.33 and a 21.25 respectively. And so this is one of the very few options that comes with a 21.25 inch top tube. 21.25 inch top tube on the Darkwave. The chainstay is a 13.25 to a 13.5, depending on how you run it. If you run it right in the center, it's going to be right in the center of those. If you run it slammed, it's going to be 13.25. If you run it all the way back, it's going to be 13.5. Now, this is a fairly long chainstay. It's not going to be as long as the Colt Devotion or the Colt Controller or the Haro, any of the Haros, but it's going to be a little bit longer than most, meaning that it's going to feel pretty stable and it's going to feel pretty controlled. Getting into a manual might be a little bit harder than if it was a 13-inch chainstay, but once you're in it, it's going to be pretty easy to control since it doesn't loop out super easily. The head tube angle is a 75.25 tube angle. This is a 1/4 of a degree steeper. Getting a steeper head tube angle mixed with these steep offset forks is going to make popping into nose manuals a little bit easier. And the front end is going to be pretty responsive. So when you turn those handlebars, you're going to feel the bike engage right away because of that geometry setup. Now the standover height is a little bit taller than normal also. It's a 9.25. I'd say 9 inches is average, so 9.25 is going to be just a little bit taller. The biggest thing here is how it looks. This is a lot of personal preference, but the utility of it comes from a taller standover height. It's going to make it easier to grab the seat for toboggans or pinch the seat for bar spins. So that's a small thing that this taller standover height will do with this bike. So overall, very tall geometry, and this is actually pretty similar to the geometry I would ride. I'm riding a 21 inch, I'm 6'4", and so a 20.25 is definitely next on the list for me, just so I can see how it feels and how it controls, and just what that 21.25 would do to affect my riding, because technically 21 is the correct size for me, so I'd be stepping up a little bit. Now I really want you to double check the size guide to make sure that this is the right top tube size for you. This is kind of how I recommend people, if you're a tall person, 6'2" and above, get the Sunday Darkwave because it's got that taller top tube. If you're a little bit smaller, get the Sunday Soundwave because the 21-inch top tube is probably right for you. And if you're even smaller than that, get the We the People Envy. Those are going to be the 3 best quality bikes, and the We the People Envy comes in a 20.5-inch option, Soundwave comes in a 21, and the Darkwave comes in a 21.25. So those are pretty much the 3 options for all different height sizes, and based on really high quality performance. The Darkwave has a really big top tube, and so only pick it if you are a taller rider and the 21.25 inch top tube is right for you. So now let's go in and talk about the Dougsterbob scores. This is a scoring system that I created to help you find the perfect bike. It ranks bikes based on how good they are for park, street, dirt, how good their quality is, and then you're able to compare the bike you're looking at to over 80 different bikes. If you want this score sheet, all you have to do is click the link in the description, put in your email address, and I will send the score sheet out to you, and then you can get to comparing bikes. But let's talk about the Darkwave. So the Darkwave is going to score a 9.25 in street. We're going to round this down to a 9, but it scores really well because it's really good quality, first of all. Second of all, it comes with 4 pegs, it comes with hub guards. Just everything about the bike is street specific. There's a few things that it could do to score higher, but not much. Not very many bikes score this high in the street section, and this is a really high quality street specific bike. Now for park, it scored a 5.33. A little bit of this bike is responsive, so responsive park riding, snappy park riding is achievable, but it's not really park specific. The tires are great for park, but you could add a gyro on there to make it a little bit more park specific. There's a lot of options. Obviously, right out of the box, because of the 9.25 street score, it's going to be street specific. Park is definitely achievable, but it's not park specific. There's a handful of park specific options on this score sheet that I would urge you to check out. If that's your thing, check it out if that's your thing. Now for dirt, it also scored a 5.33. We're going to round this down to a 5. The bigger chainstay, the taller standover height on this bike, and the bigger sprocket is going to make it more dirt specific. It's going to feel really comfortable going high speed on the dirt because it's going to feel really stable. That bigger sprocket gives you a higher top speed, but a little bit slower acceleration. Having a high top speed when you're rolling into the trails for the first time is pretty important because a lot of times people aren't able to get enough speed when jumping into the trails for the first time. So this is a pretty good dirt bike. Granted, it's not dirt specific, but there are things you can buy to make it dirt specific. And for the quality, it scored a 9.25. The reason that it did not score a 10 is because the frame doesn't have that warranty. So overall, this is a really great bike, full chromoly, aftermarket parts. It's very expensive, just like the Sunday Soundwave, but without that frame warranty, I couldn't score it as high as the Sunday Soundwave just because it doesn't have that warranty. It's not, if the Soundwave frame broke, you could get it replaced. If the Darkwave frame broke, you'd have to replace it yourself. So that's why I didn't score a 10 in quality. How about the potential issues with the Darkwave? I only see one potential issue, and that is that people buy this bike because it is such incredible quality and it's a really good bike, but they ignore the fact that the 21.25 inch top tube is going to be very hard to control and very hard to maneuver. Let me tell you, for me, going from a 20.7 to a 21 inch top tube, my bike was significantly harder to whip around. Double whips were not as easy, right? And so for someone who's meant for a 20.5 inch bike getting on a 21.25, it would just be detrimental to your progression. You would have a really hard time maneuvering the bike for really good bunny hops and doing certain things. So it's really important. I know this is a great bike and it's really high quality, but you could get a bike that's the right size for you and then upgrade the parts to eventually be the same quality as the Darkwave, just with proper sizing for you. So don't skip ahead and buy this bike even though you know it's the wrong size. Make sure it's the right size before you purchase it. Who is the Darkwave for? So the person who buys the Darkwave complete bike is mainly a street rider, but they're also fairly well-rounded. Since this bike can perform really well in street, but also in park and dirt, you're not limited to just one option. You can ride the street, hit the trails on your way home, and then wake up and go to the skate park the next day. This is a pretty versatile, well-rounded bike. And so the person who buys this is also going to be versatile and well-rounded. Now, another thing here is that this person is either very experienced looking for a high-quality bike, or they have enough money and they don't want to worry about parts breaking. I know a lot of people who just say, look, I want a complete bike, but I do not want to mess with it. I don't want my cranks bending down the line. I don't want my rim bending down the line. And for someone like that who just wants the best of the best and doesn't have to worry about maintenance and little things here and there, this is a great option for them. The last question is, would I recommend this bike? And I definitely would, but again, only if this is the right size for you, because I'd hate to see you end up on this bike, even though it is an incredible bike, but being too small to ride it. I recommend this bike to anyone who's tall enough to ride a 21.25. And yeah, it's a great bike, so it's pretty hard to not recommend. I'm really optimistic, positive. I love this bike. This is such a good bike. Now guys, here's the deal. This bike is going to be really hard to find. Sunday did a limited batch of it. It was not released with the main 2022 line, came out a little bit after, and it sold out very fast. Now I know Dan's Comp is going to get some in stock periodically, so that's the link I'm going to put in the description. If you click through to that link, check if they're in stock. If you find them in stock, jump on it quick, because I promise these bikes, there's very limited supplies and they're not going to last very long, especially if you're trying to get it before Christmas. Check if it's in stock there, and if you guys find it in stock somewhere else, please let me know so I can throw that link in there and help out your fellow BMX riders. Now, if you just watched this review, you said, oh my God, this is not the right size for me, I'm going to tell you a secret. I've got a free BMX bike recommendation. All you need to do, click the link in the description, put in your height, your budget, your skill level, what you like to ride, the discipline, and I'll look over all that information and I'll make a PDF with 3 bikes that I think are perfect for you, and then I'll send that back to you. And is the Darkwave going to be on there? Maybe, but we're going to find you the right bike. I know it's really confusing, so let me help you get the right bike. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment and tell me which bike you want me to do next, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.